to start. Our first paradigm is going to be there's many right diets as there are people on the planet. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with it. I think every individual is an individual, and so how your body processes the food is going to be unique.
Right. There's not just one way to do things. So, you know,
No, there isn't. I like how you put in there the diet is decide how I'll eat today because I think that's true too. Because even what was right yesterday may not be right for you today.
no, and that is correct. And that's one of those things that people say. I know as we go along and we be jumping ahead, but um, when we talk about diet and lifestyle and changes, your body changes all the time. Your body's always doing something different, and you got to be willing to change with that. Zig Ziglar once, he always talked about, I don't know if you get into his lectures or any of that, but, he talks about how when he was about, I want to say when he was about 60, he really started exercising and getting in shape. And he said when he was 60, 65, he felt better than he was when he was in his 40s. And it's because he started listening to his body. He started eating better, but he could probably eat more in his 60s than he could in his 40s and still lose weight and still feel good about himself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's kind of what we keep saying, what we keep looking at. So, there's not really much to talk about these because these are pretty self-explanatory. So we'll just kind of do the next one. What's
Mm-hmm.
healthy for one person might not be healthy for you. Um, I know in my last video I talked about I agree and disagree with this. Um, why don't what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on it as well. Because in principle, I can look at it and say, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because again, everybody is unique, so we roll with it. But I also, on the other hand, I also feel that there are some basic things that are healthy for everybody, and some things that are basically
Right.
unhealthy for everybody. Right? So yeah,
No,
I,
and no, go ahead.
I have a love-hate relationship with that one, where I have a little bit of trouble really.
Yeah. Well, it's like they say, there is no secret to success. The secret is there is no secret. I like to bring up shows and movies, and if you ever seen the cartoon Kung Fu Panda, the dad's the I can't even remember his name, but the duck's like the secret to our secret family recipe soup is there is no secret. But as
Yes,
long as people think there is a secret, nobody can achieve it, nobody can do it, nobody can copy it because they in their mind they're missing that secret.
yes,
And that's it. If you follow what healthy people eat and how healthy people eat, you'll become healthy. Now, does that mean you can eat everything? No, because if you got an allergy to dairy, you can't eat dairy. So, a
correct.
normal person might be able to, but you can't.
Yeah.
And that's really where that comes from.
Hmm. That's a good point. You're right. It's like just because that diet worked for one person, it doesn't mean you can duplicate it and it's going to work perfectly for you.
Right. And then, we talk about the body has an innate wisdom beyond any book or authority.
Hmm.
You know, and it really is the case because so many people, they sit there and they're trying to read books and they're trying to do this. But if they just sat there and said, like, I have a lot of times, like, one of my biggest problems is, like, I'm sitting there eating, and I come from that generation where my parents were like, you can't leave the table until you finish your plate. And I've got this mentality where, like, I have this food and I have to eat it. And a lot of times I keep eating, and then when I get done, like, I have this feeling like, oh my gosh, I should have stopped like a half an hour ago,
Yeah,
or two burritos ago, because you're just so stuffed. And if you listen to your body, when your body says, hey, I'm full, we're good, and stop eating, it, sometimes that makes all the difference in the world. And that's all there is that you need to do to get healthy.
yeah. Yeah, that's very true. And it is, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's really about listening to your body and actually listening to it and dropping some of the beliefs that you might have. And
Right.
for myself personally, I found that I would, I had no problems with my own control. If I took food on my plate and I felt I was full, I would leave it. But then I would find if
Right.
the kids took food and left it, I would be reaching over to take their plates because I don't want to leave food, it's like, don't waste the food. It's like,
Yeah.
how contradictory is that? It's like I can do it for myself, but I can't let my kids do it. So it's kind of.
I do that to my girlfriend all the time. I like to eat though, so that's my downfall. But you know, when we look at this stuff though, you know, it's kind of funny. Like for example, like they were talking in the videos about binge eating ice cream. You know, I personally believe there's nothing wrong with eating ice cream. But the process is you got to listen to your body and say, okay, I've had enough, or I only need this. You know, like a lot of times I'll go to like, I don't know if you have what's called a Cold Stone by you. It's an ice cream place. Probably one of the best ice cream there is.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I go there, instead of getting the small one that they have, you know, I'm always like, oh, I got to get the largest one, or I got to get, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I started eating it, and I'm like, well, I probably could have done the small one and been just as happy, you know, and that's just something where we got to work on changing those things and improving those things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So kind of moderation and listening.
Yep.
Yeah. Satisfied. Yeah.
And then I always like to say, what did I do here? Oh, I'm scrolling all over the place and singing and dancing. There we go.
So are we like competing here? Is that how? I don't know how that works.
Yeah. What was that? I was gonna say, think why you were eating, and how much you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what we got here?
Okay.
Diets are not useful as dogma; they're useful as reference. I love this one actually because my brother embodies this.
Okay, 1 second, Brian, because I just want to write down for number 2 that the secret is there is no secret. Okay.
That's perfect. I like that.
I think that sums it up actually quite well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So number 4.
You know.
Resonates with you quite a bit.
Yeah, well, my brother, sister, he always like, he'll find a diet and he's like, oh, I gotta follow this. I gotta do, you know, like I remember we used to. He's a little better now that he's gotten older, but he used to sit there and be like, oh, I want to go over here to eat, and he'd be like, oh, they don't have anything I can eat, and I can't go here, and, you know, and he'd go there and he goes, I'll have a bowl of fruit, you know, and then he's starving when we're done, and he's like, I'm like, come on, you don't need to do that. I go, it's about moderation. It's about understanding what you're trying to eliminate.
Yeah.
You know, but it's always been so funny to watch people because I see it all the time where you know people do that, and it's like the video said. I'm pretty sure it was in this video series. What they say, you know, like you lose weight, you go on a diet and you lose weight, and then you quit dieting and you gain that back. Well, you've lost that muscle, which means everything you've gained back is all fat, it's all weight, it's all, you know, it's not muscle anymore. Therefore, your body is not working as well, you know. Where if you get in a standard routine and start doing something, start moving, start working, you know, it's so much better for you. Have one burrito instead of 2.
Yeah, that's right. Or you don't, even if you have your 2 burritos, that's cool. But then you don't have the burrito the next day as well, right?
Right. No, and that's, you know, it's like me, you know, like I'm trying to get in the habit of exercising every morning, you know, and sometimes it's not easy, and sometimes I wake up, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. But what I've been trying to do is force myself. I'm like, okay, well, I'm at least gonna walk around the house, you know. And then I get outside and I'm like, wow, it's really nice out. Maybe I can go to the end of the street, you know. And I just keep pushing myself a little bit farther until I end up, you know, it's an hour later, and I'm like, well, I'm by the pool. I might as well jump in the pool and go for a swim, you know. But it gets it done, but it's step by step, and it's the same way with dieting, I think.
Yeah.
My favorite show, as they always say, take baby steps.
There you go.
Bill Murray never said it better.
Yeah, but that totally ties back into number 3, right? Because it's you take your baby steps. You do what is feeling right. If you're eating it, how is your body feeling? And part of this diet is working or not.
You know, because if you become overwhelmed, I mean, the first response is fight or flight. You know,
Absolutely.
You got to do it in an order that works best for whoever's doing it, whenever they're doing it.
Just to share a little bit from my perspective, I'm a vegetarian, but only recently. I've only been vegetarian for about 2 months. But for me, well, I personally feel a lot better by taking the meat out of my diet. I also confess that it's not rigid, right? It's not like I don't tell myself I cannot have meat. It's like if I want to
Right.
have, then I will have some. But right now, I just don't want to. Um, but I think if I was to adhere to it, say I absolutely cannot have meat, right? It's written in stone. In order to be vegetarian, I absolutely can never ever have meat. It would be really hard for me. I think it would make it harder for me to follow it than just by taking it day by day and saying, you know what, it's a really good reference just to say there's no meat and I'm going to compensate my diet in other ways. But it's totally okay if I decide I want some bacon one day, then I can have it.
Right. Well, isn't it human nature for anything, whether you tell yourself or somebody else tells you, or anything where they say you can't do that? Isn't it human nature to say, well, I'm going to do that?
Exactly. That's why, and that's where I think that's important to, if you look at your diet as the dogma, it's the end all, and you have to follow it exactly. You're creating in yourself a situation where you're going to start rebelling against it because it just makes it harder.
Right. I coach a lot of employees, and I'll actually use that as like a reverse psychology on them a lot of times, where I'm like, oh no, you can't work on that particular, and the next thing I know they're working on it. I'm like, oh, I got done what I wanted done.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to do that, but it really is about managing what we're doing with our body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, that's what we're talking about here.
There you go.
Your body is your ultimate dietary authority for every phase of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And what's nice about these is they all tie together, because this is everything we've been talking about. As your life changes, your diet changes. As your mind changes, your diet changes. As your relationship to food changes, your diet changes. And it's really kind of like a whole encompassing circle of life that we're living with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And like you said before, you just have to be willing to change with your body and carry on, right?
Yeah. And if you're not, then what's going to happen next? That's where that kind of works. I love the challenges though of how these things work and what we do, because it really does make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm so excited about, like, I think I'm annoying my friends, because at this point, like the people who have accepted that I'm doing this and have learned not to, shoot me down, I don't stop talking about it. Like, okay, do it then already. But, it's like the other day I got in a car accident, and I was going to get this car rental, and I'm in there, and this lady is she's just off the wall, like out of control. She's trying to do a million things. She's a mess. She's all deshuffled from, like her hair's a mess, her clothes are a mess. She's just barely hanging on, and you can tell she's just barely hanging on. And one of the things I did is I'm like, okay, I need you to calm down for a minute. I go, let me help you out. This is what I do. But that's what's so nice about this business, about this world, is like we can do those things and we can help these people and teach them, to look at this and change their lives, to change these thought patterns.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I agree. I think that's the awesome part about it is that it isn't limited just to a dietary intake, right? What are you putting in your mouth? It is more than that, and I like that.
Right. And that's why I always try to kick it back, because I get people all the time, I am a little overweight. I'm not bad, but I'm definitely a little overweight. And people are like, you're becoming a health coach. Well, shouldn't you work on yourself first? And I'm like, well, that's not really what I'm looking at focusing. I'm looking at helping your entire well-being, your entire body, your entire mindset. And that's what the difference is.
And there's so much more to health than simply a number on a scale or whether you look at, whether you're perfect.
No, and that's what a lot of people think. I think I don't know if I said it on a call or not, but I've told my girlfriend this many times. I go, it's not about weight, because I know a really fat guy named Santa Claus is always happy. He's one of the happiest guys known on the planet. And,
that's right. And the guy,
he's not skinny.
Yeah, he's got endurance and energy. I mean, he can go all night doing his job.
Yeah, see, it's all about that mindset.
Totally.
So now your diet changes as you change. I always just kind of skip over this one, because this is that slide that I said, duh. Because again, it's everything we're talking about, everything that we're focusing on here is you have to change. And I almost like think this question should be reversed. You have to change before your diet changes. Because you have to be in the right mindset. You have to be willing. You have to be able to understand what it is we're talking about, because, that's more what we're talking about than, changing your diet, changing as you get older, as you change, because I don't really believe that just because you're 70, you can't eat whatever you want, because I believe if you have the right mental state, the right activity levels, and you're doing the right things, you can eat whatever you want at the age of 70, 80, 90. But you have to be in the right place of mind.
That's a very interesting statement, Brian. I like it. Because I agree with you. I mean, your diet does change, or your diet changes as you change. It's true, right? The diet you have as a toddler is very different from a teenager, which is very different from a young adult, which is very different for a female if you get pregnant, which is very different from, when you hit 40, and it's just part of life where it changes with you.
But again, you look at a baby or a kid, they can eat anything they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Or teenagers.
They eat all day, every day, but they're always moving. They're always doing something.
Yeah.
So what's the one difference when you get into your 30s or 40s?
Yeah,
You're sitting at a desk. You're not working.
And it ties back into your body's changing as well, right? You are sitting at a desk, but also your metabolism is changing. It doesn't process the food in the same way. You're not.
Right. No, exactly.
Right? But I like that. The idea that you have to change before your diet changes. Because really that's the crux of what we're doing. Is we're helping people themselves, and then the diet is going to fall into place as you make your other changes. That'll just happen naturally.
A couple people that I talk about, like I sit down and I talk to them, and I'm like, I don't want you to worry about diet. I don't want you to worry about exercise. I want you to start thinking about what you want and how you want to do it. There was an old saying that it has to hurt enough before you do anything. I always use the reference, of a dog laying on a bed, with rocks in it and stuff, and after a while it gets up and it's got sores on its side and stuff, but it didn't move because it didn't hurt enough. It's got to hurt enough in order to change. Where I always tell people about horses, how they'll run until until they die. And that's because it didn't hurt enough for them to stop doing what they were doing. That they ran themselves to death. Where I think that's how humans are too.
Yep, I agree. I like that one. Very insightful, Brian. Actually.
I just make it up as I go. No.
Well done.
So this one we're looking at your body is the most powerful, least expensive, and best dietary experimentation lab in existence. That's definitely. I mean, nothing's more true than that, because I find it funny how changing a vitamin or changing a supplement or changing your diet, it can change your entire life. I always like to try new supplements. I'm a GNC geek. I'm there all the time. I probably spend a lot more money than I should there. But, like the other day I was trying out this it's a testosterone energy boosting supplement. And, I took it in the morning, and I kid you not, I went to work and I had to unload a truck. And by the time I got to work, I mean, my energy levels were through the roof. I was lifting toolboxes that usually take 2-3 guys by myself. I was just like, putting it up, putting it away, because that testosterone was just blowing. My blood was just flowing so easily that I was just picking it up and moving, and I was just doing things. And like the truck process was done before I even realized it. And people are like, "Do you even need our help today?" But it was one pill. One pill changed all that, and sometimes I don't think people realize that they'd rather go sit there and take, 100 drugs, or they'd rather sit there and drink, pots of coffee or energy drinks than actually sit down and say, okay, what's missing and why am I this way?
Exactly. And I think that's a huge part of it. Like when I looked at this, and for me, a big part of who I am is that we have to be active participants in our health. And it's so easy for somebody to say, I don't have to look at myself. I can just go get a drug for this from the doctor. And right.
No,
rather.
I agree. I agree full heartedly. You know, and well, look at you for example. You know, you're telling me you're a vegetarian. You
Mhm.
know, changing that, and I guarantee you felt a change just taking away the meat. You know, most of the time, if not all the time. You know, and how you feel and your energy levels. You know, eating more greens, eating more vegetables, eating more fruits. You know, how
Mhm.
much of a change have you noticed in your life?
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And then, yeah, you just notice it, and it comes back to being that active participant, right? Noticing what is it that's working for you and what isn't, rather than going to somebody else and looking for something that is a surface treatment but doesn't go any deeper.
Hmm. I like this next one too. That your relationship with food and body impacts your health more powerfully than the food that you eat. You know, again, this is part of what we've been talking about, but
Mm-hmm.
how true is this? Because I'm telling you right now, if you tell yourself you're fat, you're gonna be fat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't matter what you do. Like I'm a huge fan of hypnosis. You know, and I don't know that it changes everything or that it's gonna make your life better, but I know, or like when I go for a run in the morning, there's this soundtrack from it's called motivational speeches. You can get it on Apple Music. It's basically these guys yelling at you, you know, the whole time, you know, in like a song or like a speech, but they're all affirmations, you know, talking about I am great, I am strong, you know, I'm a lion, the king of the jungle. I am not a sheep that needs to be led around, and you know, and I know it sounds silly, but when I get done with that exercise or even just walking, you know, I feel better. I am better. My mind is on a better place. Um, and I'm telling you, I'm skinnier those days. I feel less fat. I feel less bloated. You know, and I really think it has a lot to do with what your mind's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. And yeah, I agree. I think that your mind does influence it a lot because your body is going to reflect whatever your mind is thinking. It has no choice, right? Because your mind controls your body. For me,
Right? No, I agree.
when I read that one, and I've certainly been around people who don't enjoy food, right? They're constantly analyzing it and saying it's good for me, it's bad for me, and they almost make it like an enemy to them, right?
Hmm.
Sit down to eat a meal and it isn't exactly what they want, but it's bad for them, and it's creating an enemy of the food. And what do you think your body's going to do with it? It's going to treat it like an enemy, and it's just not a healthy way to approach your food.
No, no, and that's exactly the truth. Like, you know, I was reading an article. My mom has MS,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things they say is your body starts thinking that it's bad for itself. You know, it starts fighting itself.
That's great. Yeah.
You know, and they say like someone that is all mindset, someone that is you start retraining your body, like, no, this isn't right. You know, my body is good, my body is full, I am not fat, I am not, you know, it makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one that resonates most for me. It's like absolutely. Your relationship with food is huge, and if you bring mindfulness and enjoyment to it, it changes everything. It changes how your body even digests it, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Uh, you know, and then, you know, we look at this next one where like every symptom, craving, or behavior around food has a positive intention. You know, therefore, symptoms, cravings, and behaviors are not the problem. They're just the best solution you have come up with this far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, isn't that what heartburn is? It's telling your body, hey, you're too stressed, or you know, isn't that what weight gain is? Hey, you're too stressed. You know, so I'm going to save this energy for later because I'm not going to be digesting food, you know, all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know,
this.
your body screams at you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's trying to work with you, right? It has your best interest. It truly does. It's one thing that has your best interest always front
Hmm.
and foremost. And it isn't going to sabotage you or work against you without a really good reason. But it never does. It isn't working against you. It's just our interpretation that it's working against us, but it isn't. We're just not listening, I guess. Exactly, because it's best interest as well. Yep.
You know, because Your body only survives if you survive.
Totally. That's a very, is that a symbiotic relationship there?
Yeah, that's exactly. If it doesn't take care of you, you're not, it's not going to be around. It's not like you can transplant minds or anything.
No, it doesn't work so well.
I'm sure they're working on it though.
Yeah, somewhere probably.
I think this one is the one that resonates the most for me.
Hmm.
Is the whole nourishment. It's about much more than just food. Because there's a lot of people, and that's kind of like, I look at it, like I get CNN on my phone all the time, and I look at all these bombings that came up or that come up, like for example, 49 minutes ago, 61 dead, 207 injured in Kabul bombing. So what's going on in these guys' head that makes them do that? That makes them think, it's the input that they get, the nourishment of hope and love and caring, and I think that's so much more than, because you can go without food, you can go without drinking, or for a while at least, but you start pushing in those bad influence, those bad thoughts, those bad runs, and it becomes who you are. You can't even fight it.
Hmm. Yeah, our
You know,
past history is a huge
or
part of
like you're telling me you're a vegetarian. You can control that. You can say I'm not going to eat meat anymore. I'm not going to, but if everything around you is negative and everything you've ever heard and ever known and everything that you've ever done says you're fat, um you're hated, everyone hates you, you should kill people, you should, you don't have any friends. That's all you're going to think. It doesn't matter, and you can't change that. You can't fight it unless you really, really figure out how to fight it. But most people don't even realize it's going on.
Oh, and isn't that, oh, see, you just gave me goosebumps, Brian, because really, isn't that it in a nutshell? Is even when
Yeah.
the whole thing is, so often we just don't even realize what's going on, right? With our diet, with anything, it's like we just don't even, we just don't realize what's going on.
Well, it's
Oh,
all subconscious.
yeah, exactly.
Your body does so much on its own without you even know. Think about breathing, your heartbeat, your ability to think, speak, walk. You don't think about that. You just do it.
And yeah, so we get into the ruts and the little brain grooves that keep us doing the same old because we think it's always the same old and there's no other option. And yet really there's always a different option and our body's always recreating itself. It's like, second to second our body is changing. It's never identical. So we
You know,
do have that ability to change if we recognize it, right?
no, I totally agree. Like for example, though, was a smoking example in these videos
What exactly?
about the smoking example? I don't know if it was in here or somewhere else that I heard that, but like everyone and everyone knows smoking is bad for you. They know it's going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
But yet everyone who smokes does it knowing it's bad for them. I've never met somebody who smokes that says, "Yeah, I love it. I think it's good for me. I want to keep doing." Every one of them are like, "Oh, I want to quit smoking, but I just can't." And I think that's because it's, conscious is sitting there saying, well, wait a minute. If I quit smoking, I'm going to start having these chemical reactions, lack of nicotine, the lack of this, lack of that, your body starts sending signals. Whoa, 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 you're changing something. I've lived this long. I've survived this long doing this. Why would you want to stop? You know,
Exactly.
and, and that's what everything else is.
Yeah, that's right. It's saying I can survive this. I don't know if I can survive another way, but to date we've been able to survive smoking, so why change it? That's
Right. Yeah. It's scary how your mind works.
it totally is.
And part of our job, one of the health coach studies that I was looking at, in case you haven't figured out, I do a lot of research, but I think most people in this group do. He was talking to me and he goes, one of the most effective things you need to do with your clients is shock them, is be that voice, where like you need to be that person, be like, yes, you are fat, and yes, you are the only one who can deal with this. Because everyone else says, oh, it's okay, it's fine. They're all enabling them. They're they're being nice, and you need to be that voice that says, no, this isn't all right, but you need to change it. And sometimes that's what people need to hear.
Hmm.
I get that at work all the time, where like people consistently do things wrong. They're not following the correct policy. They're not following the right procedure. They have a bad attitude, or they're really nasty to people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how many people, like even like supervisors and bosses and their bosses, don't ever say anything, but they'll be the first to call and say, you need to take care of this, and then they'll say that to someone else, and and it'll come up in their yearly review or something, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I do is I'm very upfront on that, and I'll come up and I'm like, you're full of it. You need to stop. This is what you're doing, and fix it. And the first thing they always say, and they always come back to me and says, well, nobody else says I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's really amazing, because then I'm able, and I love it when they say that, because that's my goal. Because then I can come back and say, okay, do me a favor and take the next 2 days and watch what you're doing. Watch what people are saying about you, what they're thinking about you, how they're reacting to you. Try changing what I tell you to do after the next day after that, and see the difference there. And every time they've come back to me and said, Brian, you're right. These guys don't care enough about me to say something, or they're not brave enough to say anything. Thank you. And it makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely, I think honesty. You have to have that element, right? You have to be upfront.
Yeah.
Um,
And too often that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Like honesty is you have to have that as the foundation, because you're trying to build a relationship with them that's based on trust, right? They have
Right.
to trust you in order to follow what you're doing and what you're suggesting and work with you. There has to be an element of trust. So it has to be based on. I'm not necessarily sure I'd go to the extent of shocking, but that's probably just more my style, right? I'm not the shocking.
I'm sure with each of us, and I'm sure there's different ways to do it, but I
Yeah,
do believe that if you continue to enable them, they'll never change.
correct. Yeah, you can't. You can't do that. You have to. There has to be a point where it does come down to you don't feel good. We can fix that. You gotta trust me, and let's work on it, right? You don't.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you don't feel good, that's the reason why they're there. That's why they're contacting you, and that's just a truth for them, and you can work with that.
No, I agree. So
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to cover? I hate to cut this off. My computer's about to die, though.
Anything else I want to cover? I don't think so. I'm just taking a look through some of my notes I had, and I think we covered pretty much everything that I had made. No, yeah, no, I think I'm good. How about for you? Is there anything else that you wanted to say? Are you there, or you're gone?
No, I'm here. I'm here. What's up?
No, I was just saying. No, I think I'm good. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to rock and roll. I think I'm gonna go jump back in the pool again. That was a hard day's worth of work. Enjoy. Do you mind if I broadcast this? Because if you don't want to, I won't. But it's a great opportunity for other people to see what we've done.
It is a great opportunity. Oh, okay.
It
You
is
know,
totally up to you.
can you send it to me first, Brian, just so that I can,
I can do that.
and then I'll let
I,
you know after that, because I find that a little intimidating. But let me listen to it first, and then I'll let you know for sure.
yep. And again, the one thing I want you to remember, it doesn't need to be perfect, because I think it's more encouraging when we mess up than
Mm-hmm.
it is. I think you did a phenomenal job. I think this sounded really well. This went over really well. But everyone needs to show that it's not perfect, because if you keep trying to do it perfect, same with your website or same with anything else in your life, if you wait till it's perfect, you'll never get anywhere.
Oh,
And
you
I use
have to
this,
bring that up. Hey, bring up the perfect thing, because that's my
and I use it as an encouragement to for everyone else in our group, everyone else in our lab. Come try this next time. Come do something next time. It doesn't matter if you're not prepared. It doesn't matter if you don't have the answers, because we're just going to go along together and we're going to make it happen. But I'll send this to you, and I really appreciate you coming in. This was a great time. And I hope you got something out of it.
I did, and thank you so much again, Brian, for setting it up. It's hugely valuable, and I hope
Yep.
you do it again because I would totally.
Oh, I'm going to continue doing it every
It's
week.
a great way. Perfect.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.